I'd call to order the public hearing on the issuance of general obligation school board bond series 2026. The hearing is pursuant to the requirements of sections 10 and 20 of the Bond Issuance Notification Act of the state of Illinois regarding the proposed issuance by the district of not to exceed $4,500,000 general obligation school bonds to pay certain outstanding claims against the district. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pacetto?
Here.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Here.
Mrs. Grzania?
Here.
Mr. Murba? Mrs. Taliani?
Here.
Mr. Ferrari? Mr. Sarver?
Here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This hearing will come to order. Let the record reflect that this is a public hearing being held pursuant to the requirements of sections 10 and 20 of the Bond Issue Notification Act of the state of Illinois, as amended, BINA. Notice of this hearing was published on December 23rd, 2025 in the LaSalle News Tribune, a newspaper of general circulation of the district. This is a hearing regarding a plan to issue not to exceed $4,500,000 in aggregate principal amount of the district's general obligation school bonds, Series 2026, the bonds. The proceeds of the bonds will be used to, 1, pay certain claims of the district, said claims being district outstanding general obligation limited tax debt certificates, Series 2025, dated December 16th, 2026, and 2, pay certain costs of issuance of the bonds. The bonds will be issued by the district in accordance with the provisions of Article 19 of the School Code of the State of Illinois, and all laws are mandatory thereafter and supplement thereto, and shall constitute a general obligation of the district, payable from an ad valorem property tax levied against all of the taxable properties in the district without limitations as to the rate or amount. This public hearing was required by sections 10 and 20 of BINA. At the time and place set for the public hearings, residents, taxpayers, and other interested persons will be given the opportunity to express their views for or against the proposed plan of financing the issuance of the bonds and proposed issuance of the bonds. Is there anyone wishing to submit any written comments on the bonds? Is there any residents, taxpayers, or other interested persons attending the hearing and desiring an opportunity to express their views for or against the proposed bonds? Please stand. Since there's no comments for or against the bonds, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Grzania?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Okay. I'd like to call to order the public hearing for the interfund transfer from the education fund and the transportation fund to the operations and maintenance fund. Pursuant hearing to 105 Illinois or ILCS 5/17-2A, that a public hearing be held to discuss the approval of the contemplated inter-fund transfers. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pacetto?
Here.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Here.
Mrs. Grzania?
Here.
Mr. Murba? Mrs. Taliani?
Here.
Mr. Ferrari? Mr. Sarver?
Here. Is there anyone who would like to submit any written comments concerning the bonds? Excuse me, concerning the inter-transfer. Would you like to speak, or would you like to give it in writing?
Question for you.
Then the next part, is there any residents, taxpayers, or other interested people attending the hearing which desired opportunity to express their views verbally?
My name is David Spudig. I'm the VP of the Teachers Union, from the union. I have a couple questions for you guys. Why is the money being moved from the education fund, and what is it being used for?
It's being moved, it's being transferred to pay to the O&M fund to pay obligations we have. And one of the obligations would be the ag building. But there are other obligations also that we have.
And then it was presented to us that this money was secured from other donors and savings. So how would this impact us moving forward? Next year, we're going to have 4 new roles of teachers, and over the next 4 years, we'll have 15 teachers retiring. These are some of the concerns we have from the union.
This transfer will have no impact at all on our staffing or any services we do educationally for our students in the district.
On behalf of the union, thank you for letting me ask these questions.
Well, thank you very much. Are there any other comments? If there are no comments, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Call the order, the regular board meeting for January 21st, 2026. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pacetto?
Here.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Here.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Here.
Mr. Murbaugh? Mrs. Taliani?
Here.
Mr. Ferrari?
Here.
Mr. Sarver?
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I would like the Board of Education to look over the regular meeting minutes from December 17th, 2025. If there are no corrections or additions, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Sarver? Excuse me.
Yes. Recognitions and comments from visitors, 5.1 Division Spotlight tonight. Our Student Sports Services, we have Mrs. Emmy Carney.
Thank you all for having me this evening. I printed out the slides in case anyone wants to write on them. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Emily Carney. I'm the Division Chair for Student Sports Services, as well as one of the counselors here at LP. And each year, thank you so much, go Bears. Each year I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of my division and giving you updates. There are some extra copies over here if anyone needs one over there. So basically my purpose for today is to introduce you to who's all the members of our team, as well as to provide you with updates and new happenings from each of our offices. So for those of you who are not aware, our division is quite large. We have 2 nurses, Mrs. Knickerbocker and Mrs. Zeal. We have an AAP coordinator who's in charge of our credit recovery program. We have an AAP teacher that is Wendy Zukowski, and the coordinator is Sue Brooker. The school psychologist is Dr. Lisa Jones. We have 2 social workers, Megan Mahaffey and Michelle Pacheco. And then we have an SEL interventionist, Nicole Kowalczyk. We have 5.5 counselors, myself, Andrea Eichelkraut, Kaylee Hahn, Brandon Plaker, David Spudik, who is also here today, and Ashley Swanson, and Kaylee Hahn is also a half-time work-based learning coordinator. So basically I will be giving you updates from each of those areas to kind of know what everyone's up to. So to start, I'm gonna start with Student Sports Services offices, more specifically the special ed office. Currently, we have a total of 161 students in special education. For this year, some additional statistics or information they wanted you to know was 7 moved during first semester, 4 had initial eligibility in first semester, and 10 had assessments completed as part of a full evaluation first semester. In terms of meetings, the school psychologist attended 120 special education meetings, including move-ins, annual reviews, amendments, domains, and reevals. The social workers completed 32 IEPs, 37 reevaluations, initial evaluations, domain meetings, and it had a total of 69 meetings. And then services to the students that they have provided, as a summary of those, are the social workers provided IEP-related service minutes to 60 students in both individual and group sessions on a weekly basis. The social workers provided weekly groups to the students in Pride, Oasis, and Transitions, Goals, and Life Skills, Pace and Rise. All 3 of them provided crisis intervention services to students in need, including when we would team up for suicidality screenings, threat of harm to self or other screenings, being included in those. And then one of them, Mrs. Mahaffey, serves as our homeless liaison. And she has been assisting 22 students and families to gain access to supplies, services, and community support. She gives out weekly distribution of food bags as some of those supports for 15 students, and approximately has distributed 210 bags of food so far in first semester. In addition to that, they do have some additional projects to share with you this evening. The school psychologist has really focused this year on trying to assist the entire school with their IEP writing and fluency, and so she basically focused on creating an LP-specific IEP binder to help them understand how to properly write and complete their IEPs. She also offered trainings on IEP writing best practices, common errors that she's seeing, general information about the process, and rubric in time for the state's special education audit in the 2027-2028 school year. She also completed 10 in-depth IEP reviews to help the case managers understand and identify their errors and ensure compliance for this audit. So that's been really exciting. The school psychologist and social workers also began half-day orientation for 8th grade students with special education services last year. This was super well received from the feedback that they had requested, and they're definitely looking forward to doing that again this year. They're still narrowing down the date. And then the school psychologists also, and social workers, facilitate clinical consultation meetings to support health services, review relevant research, and provide updated resources for all of the LP service providers. We actually meet on a pretty much bi-weekly basis to discuss important topics, things that we're seeing within the school, how can we collaborate together, updates to relevant information that would relate to all of us service providers. So they are wonderful leaders in that. The next updates are for the AAP coordinator and teacher with their AAP program, as well as Elevate. For those of you who are familiar with what the AAP coordinator does, it has been primarily or heavily it is our credit recovery program to help our students that are off track to get back on track and hopefully to graduate on time with their class. The AAP program itself is the full-time credit recovery program where students can earn up to 10 classes in a single semester as opposed to our typical 7 to help them catch up more quickly. They're also doing the courses blended. Some are taught by the teacher and some are actually online using Edgenuity now. And so that allows the student to get through more classes. And it has traditionally been half of those students in the morning and half of those students in the afternoon. However, as of this semester, we've changed what that program looks like, and so that full-time AAP program is actually solely offered in the mornings. I'll give you some additional statistics in terms of what the students, who we have in those classes. And now we also offer 2 credit recovery periods called Elevate in the afternoon during 5th and 7th period. So instead of just allowing students to take an online supplemental course on top of their 7-period day, where if they're not in that AAP program, they could still make up a credit recovery class on their own outside of the school day. We can still do that. However, in Elevate, we're actually allowing the students to have a designated period during the school day where they can work on up to 2 online credit recovery classes in a single period. So we currently, I'll give you some additional statistics on that here shortly as well. The fall 2025 outcomes for the program, 3 students were graduates. They were students who had not graduated with their previous class, but we were able to graduate them this semester, or first semester. 100% of the classes attempted in the AAP program were actually completed and earned. 90% showed improved attendance compared to previous semesters here at LP. And then of the supplemental classes that were offered to students, since we did not have Elevate first semester, those were the ones they took in addition to their in-person curriculum. They were taking those online, and 69% of those supplemental courses passed. So there you have it for those statistics from the fall. This spring, we have 18 students currently enrolled in the morning full-time AAP program. seniors and second semester juniors. 13 seniors are in the program. 11 are projected to graduate on time. 2 are currently projected to graduate in the fall. And we are looking for ways to still see how are they doing in terms of progressing. Can we potentially add in even additional classes to try to still get them to graduate with their class? The new Elevate approach, basically, in order for us to figure out who will get into the Elevate programs, we had met actually with Mrs. Cushing, myself and Mrs. Brooker, and we were talking about how do we identify the appropriate students to get into these programs. We looked at failure rates, we looked at attendance data, and obviously we could not technically get everyone in there, but we were able to get a lot of them in there. The vast majority are in that program to make up credits that they had missed first semester or credits in general that they were behind on. So that was very exciting. The counselors themselves make those referrals, and then Mrs. Brooker and Mrs. Zukowski work with them from there. Let's see here. Oh, and we are still offering supplemental classes for students if they are not in Elevate or AAP as needed on a rolling basis. Additional supports and engagement. The AAP coordinator also participates, and the teacher also participates in the IBCC Career Expo with their students and the LP Organized Career Fair. The coordinator continues to co-facilitate the Pathways group for our expecting high school students. And then the coordinator as well as our counselor, Mrs. Eichelkraut, co-lead the Cavalcare program, which I discussed last year in this spot. Are there any questions so far? Alright, great. We're very excited for the new changes and to help, obviously, offer more opportunities for students to recover credits as needed. Next, with the nurses, their office updates, they see approximately 30 to 50 students daily in their office. They're seeing 1 student for diabetic care and 5 students for scheduled medication daily. They have 10 students utilizing their cubbies and bathrooms to change into for PE class. They continue to have undesignated EpiPens, Narcan, and inhalers in the nurse's office. They currently are seeing a rise within the school, especially in influenza A, as well as a meeting with students to help with other illnesses. And then they will begin going to health classrooms again to do EpiPen education with the students later this semester as they did first semester. So we're very excited to help them. All right, next is our SEL interventionist. This first slide, this is our provider who really helps focus on the SEL screener, and providing very specific supports in how to address some of those needs, especially on a tier 2 level. The data that we wanted to share with you more specifically first is where are we at with our screener data, since we've usually provided that. So of the 3 measurements that I'm going to go over here, the first one is externalizing emotional behaviors. So these are the ones that we typically can observe by watching a student. So it could be aggression, defiance, impulsivity, difficulty following rules, emotional dysregulation. The goal that is set for a student, or for the student body to meet, is 85%. I included up here the 2021, 2022 data for comparison purposes for you to see a little bit of the progression. But in that first year, it was 82.18%, which is so obviously below the threshold. Last year it was 85.15, and this year it's 86.51. So we continue to see a steady increase. Internalizing emotional behaviors are not typically the ones that you see outwardly, but basically that they're measurements when the students are answering the screener that will help us identify, is that student struggling with anxiety or low self-esteem or potentially depressive symptoms, emotional distress, those things that can certainly impact a student and their education. So the goal again is 85% of students demonstrating no concerns in this area. In 2021-22, we had 80.51, again below the threshold. Last year was 86.63, and this year it's 87.36. So again, a steady increase. And finally, the social skills level and resiliency. This is basically measuring a student's ability to be able to build, maintain relationships, to problem solve, to be resilient, to respond to challenges, and adverse experiences. So, and they would be able to demonstrate effective coping skills, adaptability, effective communication. The goal again is 85%, being able to demonstrate those positive skills. In this case, this was our lowest area originally in 21-22. We had 77.62 students at the time. We raised that last year to 83.16, and then this year to 85.91. Any questions on the SEL data for the screener? I will be going over some of the interventions and services that have been contributing to making some of these changes. So on the SEL interventionist side, her Tier 1 interventions this year have included the Suicide Prevention Week that was held in September. She did the chalk drawing again where students could go outside and write positive messages. But this year she also incorporated and collaborated with local agencies in the mental health arena to be able to provide education and community resources directly to students for them to be able to interact. Calves Day is coming up March 12th and 13th. That's where we focus on helping our sophomores in fostering school connection, belonging, and positive school culture with participating, the students that are participating. The Tier 2 interventions were her small group targeted supports. And she did adjust these this year to more accurately reflect the SEL indicators themselves, what was being measured. And so if a student was being identified as higher risk for issues with self-awareness or lack of self-management, et cetera, the school counselors were able to look at the data and to more specifically refer a student that they felt would be appropriate, looking at those specific areas specifically to the group that it related to. So those are self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision-making. She had 79 students referred for groups, 45 of those students participated, and she had a 57% participation rate. And finally, in terms of Tier 3 intensive supports, those are her individual counseling opportunities that she provides to students who are identified as appropriate for those services. She met first semester with 16 students on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as needed. And then finally, something that was new, additional thing that was new for her this year, she is a leader in the LP Project Connect, where basically she and several other service providers and administrator, I think Jamie, you were on that as well. They hosted the ROE on our opening days of first semester to help train the staff on basically ACEs, trauma-informed classroom, a lot of related topics to help us get ready and to work with the students on every level. They also offered strategies and resources to LP staff in the form of 2 SEL-focused newsletters to continue a lot of those conversations and more in-depth conversations. And then finally hosted 2 connection conferences during lunches for interested staff to be able to share resources, problem solve, and basically build an additional school culture and support. Any questions on those? Great. My next update is counseling, my specific area. Anytime where I have the opportunity to talk about this, it's so hard to narrow down what all to talk about, but I always like to first start with the fact of when you're working with those of us in student support services, you might not be in the classroom, so you might ask, so how are we assessing our practices? How are we identifying our goals? And like what the needs are and what kinds of resources are we looking for, or data or standards are we kind of basing all that off of? So it's pretty much been ever since I first came here, when we were starting to talk about really developing a program that reflected what the ASCA national standards were, that we would always focus on student-driven, data-informed practices. And so in our decision-making and the areas that we decide to focus on, we're always looking at the fact, or I guess we consider the idea that without data, it is an opinion. And so, some of the areas that we typically focus on are the different resources that we'll look at to help us make these decisions. For example, in goal setting and annual progress, we look at the school report card regularly, similar to how the schools set their goals. We've also aligned heavily these last 2 years to align to the school goals, and we'll be identifying how we've done that. We look at the needs assessment that we conduct every spring, and we actually include in there not just requests from the students to give us anonymous feedback on what are the topics that they feel they struggle the most with in academic, college, career, and social emotional domains. We also ask them to rate our services because we want to know, are we approachable? Are we helpful? Do they feel there's any other ways that we could be supporting them as their support service providers? And we're very happy to say we've gotten really good ratings. So that's always helpful. SEL needs and referrals, we obviously use the SEL screener. We obviously have to work with auto placement. We're always looking for ways to look at data related to college and post-secondary planning. And then also when we're considering events related to these ideas, we're looking at ACT, pre-ACT, senior questionnaire, which is where students tell us what their future plans are, if it's college, career, military, etc. Student cards are how we keep track of their graduation requirements. We analyze those regularly, looking at like where are students struggling the most academically in courses, what years are they struggling the most, and then also where are they telling us that they're planning to go to help them make informed decisions. And something I put on here for auto placement, just as an FYI, since this is our second time reporting on this. This year we had 541 students auto-placed compared to last year 511. And that's important for us. Right now we are beginning the registration process for next year, and that is one of the items that we have to make sure that we are obviously indicating on the registration sheets before meeting with the students, so we're prepared to have those conversations. We're also regularly looking at grades, attendance, behaviors. When we are goal setting with students, we're measuring. I'll be talking about our senior success group that was new this year, but we had them print out, we printed out for them, but we had them compare each week the reports on their grades and attendance in each of their classes, and they had to mark an arrow if it went up, if it went down, if it stayed the same. If it wasn't going in the direction we wanted, Mr. Spudik and I, while working with them, were like, okay, what happened? Like, what are the things we control, we don't control? How can we get back on track with this goal? And we had created curriculum that addressed the academic, college, career, and social emotional domains in that new intervention. Final exam waivers. We obviously regularly work with the students to also help those. So we are not solely working with the students who are failing. We're also goal setting with students who want to waive finals. I just met with someone today who's never gotten to waive a final, and that's one of their goals. They have 0 absences so far and usually have struggled. They've actually had great grades. They just haven't been able to waive it because of the attendance part. And so it's just really fun to be able to see that as a motivator for our students to continue to strive for better. This past semester, we had 71% able to waive at least one final exam versus 64% the previous fall. So that's a nice jump. We look at pre and post tests with our lessons and our groups to measure the skills that they gained and what their needs are, and to really direct those groups. Even though we already have curriculum, we have options of what we can pick from to really individualize it based on the needs that they've identified with us. We also look at additional qualitative measures like group counseling, feedback, again, finding out from them what are their needs, how can we improve, what can they contribute to future groups, etc., and self-reported needs during our individual meetings and groups. Direct services that we provided so far this year and can look forward to doing as well throughout the rest of the year. So far, we're typically we average around 35 students a day, and we've met with students. 79% of those meetings have included an academic component, 33% of them have included college and career components, and 27% social emotional. That does not add up to 100% because, per usual, our conversations are not strictly on one domain. Typically, if a student comes in and they're really upset about something social emotional, We can usually also then address, like, eventually, once we've gotten to a good place, we can also address other domains, like academics or their futures. Crisis intervention, we also participated in suicidality, TOTO screenings, and in the event of a loss of a student or faculty, we are a major resource for that. Hospitalization supports and referrals to outside resources, we're continuing to do those regularly. We again offered 5 groups first semester. We averaged 25 students in our College 101, where we're walking through each of the post-secondary steps with them and helping them in small groups and individually. With the FAFSA, one exciting thing that I can report is you are required in the state of Illinois, as you know, to complete the FAFSA or the FAFSA non-participation, and we are already 50% through those completions of students who have already submitted the FAFSA itself. I'll tell you about a celebration here soon. And then Senior Success Group, like I mentioned, is one of our new ones, and I'll talk about that a little bit further. Dual enrollment has also seen an increase this year. We had 38 students in the fall, this past fall, and then 32 are currently doing it this semester. In order for a student to participate in dual enrollment classes such as IVCC Early Out or just taking an IVCC class outside of LP, there's actually several steps they have to take: an online application, a paper application, and the students a lot of times really benefit from that additional support from us to be able to complete each of those steps. As well as once they're in it, if they're taking an online class, they don't always know what to do with Brightspace, so then we're walking them through those and helping them to understand where do you find your assignments, how do you complete the intro course, etc. And then we do, of course, still offer our counseling lessons in the classrooms, 9 lessons in particular over 12 days, and we are looking at offering a few more. Just a few more highlights on here. I won't go over the involvement, but the involvement section just kind of explains, like, not only are we invested in our positions here at the school, but we're also very much involved in the school and the community itself. So you can read through that if you would like. Our counseling goals in particular are to heavily assist the school with their goals, especially with attendance, graduation rate, and ACT. Obviously, a senior success group focused, we identified 12 seniors that were most at risk based on their current credits, that they were either already behind by a full credit or on the bubble of if they failed 1 or 2 classes, they would now be off track. So those were the students that Mr. Spudik and I have focused on and met with for 6 weeks to go over various areas that were most in need, and to help them with goal setting and to help them with also accountability and teaching them how to hold themselves accountable. So that was fantastic. The data that came out of that was they failed, I think it was only 5 total classes among all 12 of them, when usually it's like 3 to 4 times that. So it was a really, really great group, and they gave us awesome feedback as well. So that was new this year. And then obviously continuing to share ACT resources, test-taking strategies, and the study skills group as well with our freshmen, dual enrollment, dual credit assistance, etc. We also identified new CCR resources. Now that we don't have career cruising, we needed to identify how are we going to deliver our curriculum related to college and career readiness. And so we have heavily used a free website called ILCIS 360, which also actually had some resources on there we've never seen before, like a reality check inventory, where the students can answer questions and then be matched to careers that actually like meet how much money they would need to suffice the lifestyle that they wanted. I did that myself, and my husband was laughing because I'm like, did you know I needed to be making this amount of money? He was like, oh yeah, I could have totally told you that. So thank you, so exciting. And then my ACT is also something we are working with. They do have 3 different inventories that we can benefit in using that. For the 4-year plan that used to be on career cruising, we actually, Mr. Flaker worked on creating that new document. Actually, it's a Google form instead, or Google Sheet instead. So the students will keep that in their own folders. And then we've updated curriculum because of all of those changes. The RAMP application. You probably already know the counseling office is looking to apply for RAMP again. We've not gotten it yet. However, Mr. Sputic specifically took a class last year to learn how to better understand the actual application itself, because we got docked on things the previous time we did it, that we just really felt like, okay, let's get some more specific feedback and understanding of how this works to better, I don't know, take the test. So we're in the process of doing that. We're obviously doing our time studies. We have to have 80% direct services for students. And then obviously our goal was related to that senior success group and in helping with the pass rate and graduation rate. And then finally, the celebrations, we have at least 4 new scholarships. That's one of my areas I'm in charge of. We have at least 4 this year so far. I'm talking to 2 additional ones right now, including, which I'm excited to announce, student support services discussed in December. We would like to contribute even more to our student body, and instead of buying each other like additional small gifts, for the holidays, we were like, what if we pooled that money together and we created a scholarship ourselves that we could offer each year for students? So this will be the first year we're offering the LP Cares Scholarship from our division. We also got the bronze designation from FAFSA. We had 73.6% of students submit a FAFSA. 100% have to do the FAFSA or the non-participation waiver, but 73% did the FAFSA. Our goal is to at least hit 75% so we could get the silver designation this year. And granted, we also recognize if a student's not going to college, I'm not going to force them to complete a FAFSA. So we are trying to obviously make sure too, if they have even a remote interest, then we're trying to encourage them to do it. And then the college visit to IVCC first semester was fantastic. We had our biggest turnout yet. And then we are looking for additional college collaborations with IVCC and other resources. And then my last one is the work-based learning coordinator. As I mentioned, she's a half-time service provider. That's Mrs. Hahn. Her biggest news for this school year is she's begun implementing the internships. Some of them are paid, some are unpaid, and they are all outside of the school day. She has established 20 partnerships, including Chamlin, WLPO. Trying to think some of the other ones. Camp Aramoni was another one. And basically she's looking to actually place juniors and seniors. She's looking at grades, attendance, behaviors. They do have to complete an application to be considered. And they can look at positions in like audio engineering, civil engineering, human resources, etc. The 3 internships that were assigned first semester were a good starting point, but she's looking for a goal of 18 this semester. And then she is checking in with those students weekly through a Google Classroom that she has created, and they're completing reflection forms and going through skills and feedback on those. She's also doing pre and post surveys with the businesses and students. She's continuing to work on college and career pathway endorsements, and she just got approved for the P12 education endorsement that goes along with our welding one from the previous year. And agriculture will be the focus for next year. She'll do the she did the manufacturing expo with 25 of our students to Vector, or 32, sorry. Career fair is coming up on March 17th, which we had 62 businesses at last year. And then for the Cavalier Connection, which is our LP hiring fair for graduating seniors, she is trying to recruit more trades to attend that, as we have seen such an increase in students looking to go for apprenticeships in the trades. Okay, and with that covers everything. And do we have any questions?
No.
No? Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. We hugely appreciate all your support. And we love being here.
Well, thank you. Okay. 5.2 under public comment tonight. We have Michelle Vasquez. I'd like to address the board. Basically, Michelle, you get 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I'll let you know you have a minute left. Please come up.
Hi, my name is Michelle Vasquez. I'm a current parent of 2 students at LP, and tonight I'd like to bring your attention to the policy regarding makeup work when students are absent. Currently, the school handbook states, and I quote, "All makeup assignments will be given a grade of F until the student completes the appropriate work," end quote. Unfortunately, this policy applies to all absences and does not differentiate between school-sponsored absences, other excused absences, and unexcused absences. I strongly believe this needs to be modified, specifically for absences due to school-sponsored events. Instead of explaining why, I'd like to illustrate why with two actual scenarios that involve current LP students. The first scenario involves my current sophomore student who was selected to be on the competition math team this school year. Students are nominated for this team by their math teachers based on their high abilities and achievements in math. This year, the only math team competition that occurred during the school day was last Thursday, less than 2 weeks after the start of the second semester. My student happened to have 2 scheduled exams in different classes on the day of the math competition, and so we discussed that if he did indeed receive Fs or zeros on both of those tests, he likely would then be failing both of those classes when grades were run for eligibility the following morning, because grades are run on Friday morning for eligibility. And especially due to it being the beginning of the semester, and few, if any, other grades already in the grade book for buffering the grade. This in turn then could render him ineligible for other school and sporting activities the following week. After we talked about this and he considered this, he seriously contemplated not going to the math team competition, but ultimately decided that he needed to go because he was part of a team that was counting on him to be there. But the fact that he even had to consider his potential ineligibility as a result of attending a school-sponsored event seems ridiculous to me. Additionally, not only did he have to arrange 7 separate appointments with 7 separate teachers to make up work for missing a single day while representing LP, he also had to arrange this around school-sponsored events and practices for the other activities that he's involved in here. The second scenario involves my current senior student who was absent from his 7th hour class for 2 consecutive days for school-sponsored activities just prior to the end of the first semester. Unfortunately, the days he was absent were the 2 days prior to the 7th hour final exam. He notified his teacher in advance that he would be absent for a school-sponsored activity, but he was never offered a makeup work or alternative activity for a discussion that was occurring during one of those class periods. He then received a 0 for the discussion that occurred during this class as he was not present to participate. So only upon me inquiring via email an alternative activity, which include writing a paper, was eventually offered, but because it was literally the day before the final exam, he was unable to complete it prior to the end of that class semester. In addition, this 0 in the grade book had the potential to affect his grade to the extent that he would have had to take that final exam the following day while being completely unprepared for it. The 2 class periods he missed at the end of the semester were the only ones in that class he missed all semester, and they were both for school-sponsored events. So while I do not disagree that the work missed needs to be completed, I do disagree with the student receiving an F for the work until it's completed. This could be several days later, depending on the availability of both the teachers, all 7 of them, and the student. Is this really how we want to be treating our students who are involved in activities and sports and who are here representing LP at events and activities? It seems unfair because they've missed the school day or part of it for a school-sponsored event that they should be rewarded with Fs or zeros and potential ineligibility for additional school and sporting events. I'm urging you to review, reconsider, and modify this policy, especially in relation to school-sponsored absences, or maybe even excused absences altogether, such as funerals. There are multiple possible solutions that would better serve our student representatives. One of these might be to leave the missing grades blank until the work is completed, albeit in a timely manner. This allows the work to be made up but not count against the student's grade in that class and their eligibility like an F or a 0 does. In addition, because each academic department maintains its own policy for makeup work, some of which are individualized based on the student, this makes it more difficult for students to make up work when it needs to be completed. So I would also strongly consider streamlining the makeup work policies for all academic departments so they're at least similar, making them easier for students to navigate. I appreciate your time and consideration in regards to this policy. Please contact me with any questions, clarifications, and once further discussion has occurred. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will look into that.
Thanks.
Okay, under finance, 6.1, a motion of approval for the bills for LaSalle-Peru Township High School.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. A motion of approval for the bills for LP Area Career Center.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. A motion of approval for the payroll report.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 6.2, I need a motion of approval for the financial records as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Under correspondence, 7.1, we have a thank you card from the Wyszynski family expressing the appreciation for the floral arrangement in honor of Mr. Don Wyszynski, the father of Andrew Wyszynski. Plus, we have a thank you letter from Mrs. Cheryl DePape for the Board of Education donation to the LP Educational Foundation in memory of Mrs. Patricia Kurtz, mother-in-law, and Mrs. Sherry Kurtz. 7.3, under TIF reimbursements, City of LaSalle intergovernmental agreement TIFs, $5,497.90. Village of Tonica TIF 2025-2026, $10,510.24. And Village of North Utica TIF 5th, $2,461.83 for a TIF total reimbursements of $18,469.97. Under Board Committee Reports, Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. Ferrari.
The Building and Grounds Committee met a week ago on Wednesday, January 14th. We had a brief update regarding the ag building, and as we can all see, that the structure is starting to rise. We also spoke about some other current projects, such as the courtyard project on Charter Street, which is now 100% complete with the benches and trash bins having been installed. The roofing replacement and repair project is down to just some punch list items. There was one area that Mr. Kometz, the architect, was not satisfied with and is looking to see whether some correction can be made with the manufacturer. Masonry restoration project in the science wing has been completed. The health occupation project is still awaiting delivery of the hospital beds, which were scheduled to arrive last week, but once again did not. I know they've been waiting on those for a couple of months, I think. For the main building lighting project, connections need to be programmed and commissioned, and there are multiple connections tied to the same antenna, and that needs to be corrected so that each zone has its own antenna. That was according to Mr. Tominello. Mr. Zukowski's office is working on a final draft for the settlement agreement with AK Plumbing regarding the Sip and Savor project. As I mentioned earlier, the Charter Street Courtyard project is now just waiting for the electricians from Halm to reprogram and commission the lighting so that they'll be functional. And Mr. Kometz is going to confirm on that punch list item that he's looking to have corrected. Item 10.6 on our action items tonight involves the replacement bid awards for the fire alarms at the Dolan Building and the auto shop. And that was unanimously recommended by the committee members. Action item 10.7 is the amendment of the ISB request for the HLS funding for that same project. The cost has come in above what was originally approved by ISB, and so that's going to have to be amended. And an update, we're looking at a variety of construction projects for summer of 2026, and the repairs to the East Building pool and the replacement of the Salette Gym doors and frames and hardware were deemed to be priority items on that list. The board also needs to approve bids for some HLS projects, and that was also unanimously recommended by the committee, and that is action item 10.8 on tonight's agenda. The amendments to the health, life, safety, I think it's approximately $88,000 in approved amendments by the architect. And they'll be submitting that. And that was about it.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Ferrari. Finance Committee, Mrs. Cushing.
The Finance Committee meeting was held on Thursday, January 15th. All of our members were present. Several update items were given, such as monthly financials by Mrs. Lori Whalen. She also has December financials completed for you as well. That should be at your seats. Just an update on the levy was shared, that everything has been filed and we're just awaiting some of the finalized paperwork. We also discussed the two hearings that would be occurring this evening, and those have been taken care of. Minibus emergency repair was shared with the board. We had the transmission go out on minibus number 4 there, and so there was a rather large repair cost for that, and that is in the process of getting fixed. The other item was just authorizing in 10.3 that we can begin the budgeting process for the fiscal year 27. Another action item, which was shared in this meeting and not with Buildings and Grounds, but was that we would have some change orders from the ag building already. We need to reverse the wood veneer the way that it was applied. There was 2 items that were inadvertently left out of the initial bid documents, and so those are being added back in. That would be the lights that would be in the display case that are the down lighting when you walk in, as well as a portion of the pre-rinse faucet in the industrial kitchen there. Those motions will be 10.4 in new business. We also gave the same updates to the finance as we did with the Buildings and Grounds in regards to the fire alarm replacement, and that is also a new business, as well as letting bids for those additional HLS projects in the summer, which will be 10.8 in the new business. And the last item that was shared was new business item 10.5. Our Dungeons and Dragons Club has done a great job with their fundraising, and all that fundraising, we realized they didn't actually have an activities account, so we need somewhere for them to formally deposit their money. That's all.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mrs. Cushing. Administrative reports, Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Cushing.
My report is in your packet there. I'll highlight a couple things. We have Hall of Honor, which we're all getting excited for and ready for in the building, so that at the game on Friday there will be the honorees will be introduced, and then the formal induction ceremony will happen on Saturday evening beginning at 5 p.m. Another item that we discussed was that I have discussed is a school maintenance grant. I know that was on the agenda in the early fall, and we have applied for it. We had one little small correction to make. We've taken care of that, and we're just waiting for final approval. Recall that is the $50,000 matching grant for the Howard Fowler Stadium's lighting that we're waiting on. Hopefully we should have an update relatively soon. There is another item in the new business asking you to approve for the discipline improvement plan. ISB identifies those top 20% school districts for your high percentage of suspensions, and then we need to make a plan for that, of which we have done. And so we'll be asking for your approval of that. On a sort of happy, exciting note, we have IVAC coming in. They will be working with the Illinois Valley Community Leadership Academy. We have done this in previous years. This year we're excited. We're going to have approximately 9 members coming in. We'll give them a tour of the facilities, talk to them a little bit about all of the things that we are working on in the district. And then just to update you on FOIA requests, we only had 2 of those, and in both of those cases, we were able to respond to them in the appropriate amount of time. Any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Cushing. Principal's report, Ms. Lance.
Good evening. My report is in your packet, so if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I'd like to reflect first on our first semester. We had a really good first semester. As you look at our 3 goals that we've been working on, one of them is our graduation rate. And just to share with you, our grades for first semester, we had a 96% passing rate. So that's huge for, I think, our students, and also a testament to them and their hard work and our faculty. We've also been working, another SMART goal is our attendance. I'm happy to report that from our first semester, 80% of our students are currently on track to meet that goal, so we're very happy about that. And then we've also been working on our testing. So we've been using academic approach, and as we go through and look at the data from August to December, we are seeing some gains. So we're excited to see what happens when the ACT rolls around in April. So we'll keep you updated on that information. As we start the second semester, we're off to a great start. The teachers began with us at the beginning of January. Mrs. Cushing presented our 2025 school report card data, which I'd like to let you know that we had some significant growth there. So we're very proud of that. And as we go through our second semester, we are working on more testing. We use academic approach, which we'll be using in the next couple months here. We also have our access testing, which is for our English learners. We'll be giving that test on January 27th and 29th. And then also, our counselors are busy working on getting our 8th grade families here in the beginning of February. And they'll be working on getting their interests and their career goals put together as they walk in as freshmen with us next year. So do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lance. Athletic Director's report, Mr. Hanson.
Good evening. I just have a few updates. A couple things happened since my report submitted. So in addition to our boys bowling team winning the conference championship, they also finished second last Friday at our regional that we hosted at Super Bowl. So they are advancing to the sectional, which is this Saturday, hopefully, in Morris. So kudos to them. It's going to be a busy time, as Mrs. Cushing said. We have the Hall of Honor this week, but tomorrow night we have senior night for wrestling, Hall of Honor Friday and Saturday. But before our next meeting, we'll have 11 home boys and girls basketball games. We are hosting both the boys and girls regional, so this will be a busy place over the course of the next month, which is good for us. Yeah. Other than that, you know, one highlight in there was Coach Gunther has been named the bowling coach of the year for the previous year. We haven't had a chance to, was going to surprise him at the huddle on Friday, but that was the boys regional, and he actually worked it as the girls coach, so we weren't able to surprise him, but that will be coming soon. So Any questions for me?
No. Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Director of Area Career Center, Dr. Lang.
Hello. A couple pretty cool things to update you on with some program enhancements. So this is in your packet, but Tom Kowalski's been at it again for us, and he purchased new tables and chairs for the culinary program and a new large griddle. So there's going to be, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays. She's planning on having the cafe open, and it's starting to look pretty great over there. So if you get a chance, pop in over there. Another one, this is going to be really cool. So they're planning on doing some smart home automation in the residential electricity classroom. So I think most of those items have been purchased already. So they're going to have like smart thermostats. They're going to have home surveillance and security, along with some other things in there. So probably some smart lights and occupancy sensors and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to be able to update that. The machine classroom, the lab, they're getting a newer email and vertical bandsaw, and those things are a little safer than some of the two items that are over there now, and we're going to keep trying to update those. A couple other things interesting on the list that they're looking into is an FAA simulator for the aviation program that would be certified for log hours, and then possibly a CNC router for the building trades classroom. If you didn't get an opportunity to look at, Tom Henson from WLPO did a piece on the Area Career Center and for Tom's take, and highlighted a couple of the programs, all the programs, but specifically Joe Villarreal and Matt Lee were in that video, and just kind of talking about the things that go on here, and the jobs that are available for the students. It was really great. I've had a lot of positive feedback from that. I attended the Ottawa Open House for the 8th graders last week, had a lot of interest, a lot of parents especially came to ask questions about that sort of thing, but then also we were able to highlight the summer showcase and what that looks like for the younger students. Updated ACC course catalogs went out last week. I made some updates to that, provided a little bit more information in there. It was my belief that the last one was a little unclear with second year classes specifically. So it was actually kind of taken off of what goes to the program of study for LP. So we just kind of updated that for the rest of the schools. Facilities, development, drawings for the restroom and the hallway for the second floor of the Dolan building were completed for the maintenance grant that was awarded. So we're hoping to have some board action on that next week with the ACC board. And kind of highlighting what was going on with the early childhood education classroom. The students start off, as you guys know, the student teachers are obligated to put lesson plans together. So just a couple things, you see some pictures that I added in the packet. They were doing a wellness unit, so they got to do some identification with body parts and that sort of thing, how to properly clean their hands, and healthy and unhealthy foods. And to culminate that, Lily the therapy dog was there last week, so that was pretty cool, and they were really excited about that. So there's some really cool pictures in the packet. Any questions?
No.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lang. Director of Communications, Mr. Baker.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I guess to confirm what Dr. Lang is talking about, I now know a 3-year-old who can say, "I hurt my skull," and instead of my head, so it must be working. In other news, obviously busy helping support all the things that we've been hearing about. Hall of Honor coming up, the IBAC presentation next week, and helping with that tour. Also, as we look ahead, again, tying off what Dr. Lang was talking about, some of those Tom Kowalski projects going on in the ACC. In a couple of weeks, Mrs. Carney and I are going to be visiting with the class of 57, who still meets pretty regularly, at least those who are still around, for coffee. So we're going to be talking with them. Ms. Kowalski is one of their classmates. So that now has sprung into, we're now talking about doing another day in March where they're going to come in, do a brunch with the Corner Cafe, and I'm going to take them around the Dolan building, show them some of those new facilities and things like that. So some good opportunities coming ahead to really show off the great things that we have going on campus. Mr. Hinchy from our ag program and Miss Brayboy, who's the LP Foundation's new kind of part-time grant coordinator, and I have been working, looking at some different grant opportunities, as well as some other just donations and potential to help the ag program with either hopefully maybe finding some money to help offset some of the cost of the build or some of the equipment and things that will be going inside. We have a meeting scheduled with Congressman LaHood, couple of weeks as well. So a lot of things kind of on the horizon with all of those. Hopefully it leads to some good things. And then just, I guess, following up on the foundation, we're about a month out from awarding the second round, the spring grants. So hopefully we'll put some money back into classrooms to help our teachers and other staff with equipment that they might need. And then planning for the annual trivia night, which comes up April 11th. So I just put that on your calendar now. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Under new business, 10.1, approval of resolutions authorizing Assistant Superintendent to transfer the following amounts into the Operations and Maintenance Fund. A, need a motion of approval for interfund transfer resolution authorizing the transfer of $1,252,000 from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. And a motion of approval, transfer interfund transfer of resolution authorizing transfer of $300,000 from the Transportation Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.1C, a motion of approval of the resolution to abate the resolution authorizing transfer of $390,000 from the working cash fund to the Operation and Maintenance Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.2, and a motion of approval of resolution abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2025 to pay the principal of and interest on $2,235,000 general obligation school bonds, alternative revenue source, Series 2020A, and $2,305,000 general obligation school bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2023B of LaSalle-Peru Township High School, District 120, LaSalle, and Bureau Counties.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.3, and a motion of approval of the resolution 2026-8 to authorize the Assistant Superintendent to prepare the fiscal year 27 district budget.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.4, and a motion of approval of the following ag building change orders. From Visiting Construction, change order number 2, revised wood door veneers for $2,240. Change order number 3, addition of lights to the display case, $4,414. $4,414. And change order number 4, installation of the revised pre-rinse faucets, $1,129.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.5, any motion approval to establish the following activity accounts. A, Dungeons and Dragons Club.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.6, and a motion approval to award JB Contracting, LaSalle, Illinois, of the Dolan and Auto Shop Fire Alarm Replacement Project for $311,870. For A, base bid, Dolan Building Fire Replacement, $224,685. And B, alternate bid 1, Auto Shop Fire Alarm Replacement, $87,185.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.7, a motion of approval to amend the ISBE Health Life Safety Survey to reflect the fire alarm replacement project bid.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Grisania?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.8, a motion of approval to let bids for the following health life safety projects. A, replacement of the Sled Doors West stairs, and commons doors, frames, and hardware, and B, replacement of the east building pool surface and reconstruction of the main drain.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.9, the first reading of the 2026-2027 district calendar.
So moved.
There's no motion.
I just wanted to say it. Like I'm on a roll.
I wanted to say second.
I wanted to say it.
Hey,
Carry on.
It's your world. It's your
It is
world.
my
I'm just
world.
living in it. 10.10, the emotional approval for annual discipline improvement plan.
Now you want me to say it. So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak? Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.11, the emotional approval for following appointments as presented. So moved.
Whoa. Second.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
10.12, an emotional approval for the following resignations as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.13, an emotional approval of the following paternity FMLA request. Mr. Andrew Nelson, beginning on or about May 7th, 2026, through the end of this 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.14, an emotional approval for an overnight stay on February 13th, 2026 for the girls bowling team in Rockford, Illinois. The team qualified for the IHSA sectional tournament.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.15, an emotional approval for an overnight stay from February 10th to February 12th, 2026 for the Special Olympics team in Galena, Illinois to attend the State Snowshoe Winter Olympics.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn? Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 11, I need a motion to move into executive closed session for the purpose of A, discussion of the minutes of the meetings lawfully closed under the Opens Meeting Act, whether for the purpose of approval of the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes. B, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employee. And C, imminent pending litigation with open session and possible action items follow.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Krasniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes.